4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. The odds of us even being born as a human being. Those are the words from the great Gary Vaynerchuk, which I find incredibly awakening. 4 trillion to 1. The odds of us even being born and granted this incredible, magnificent gift of life. I like to call it a tour of duty. The gift of a tour of duty. We don't know how long it is. It could be days, it could be decades. A gift, a tour of duty. 4 trillion to 1. And not only have we been blessed with that opportunity, but for most of you watching this, myself included, we've been blessed with growing up and being and living in the two greatest countries in the world, the United States of America and Canada. We have a pocket full of aces. We can go all in knowing that our life is full, absolutely full of blessings. 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. The odds of us even being blessed with this magnificent opportunity. Which brings me to the point of why all the whining, why all the crying, why all the complaining by 99% of the mediocre, the average, and the ordinary businessmen, husbands, and fathers. Why all the misery? Why all the depression? Why all the manufactured mental illness when we've been granted a gift, the odds 4 trillion to 1? When you think about it, Gary Vaynerchuk said, our chances, that's the same chances as winning the lottery 4 times. Winning the lottery 4 times in your life is the same odds as you have now being born into this world. And I look at life, this opportunity, I look at it as even more than a tour of duty. The tour of duty, it's my responsibility. The gift, the price of my gift, this responsibility is I have to become the best version of myself every single day. I have to work every single day to become an elite man, an elite husband, an elite father, an elite entrepreneur, and an elite community leader, a man who serves other people. 4 trillion to 1. But I see it as more than just a badass tour of duty, more than just building my world. I see it as the opportunity, a moral obligation, an absolute moral obligation. I owe it to my Creator. I owe it to whatever you believe, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever the hell you believe in, is a moral obligation to maximize every minute of this gift. 4 trillion to 1. Like, I just sit there and I visit Krista's dad, who's in a long-term care retirement facility. Krista's dad, Al Hardy, had a stroke almost 6 years ago. And his life went from 100% autonomy to almost 100% loss of autonomy. He now, because of the stroke, he's paralyzed on one side. He had to move from his home into this long-care retirement place. He's in his room sometimes for 24 hours at a time. He's been through the China virus restrictions and lockdowns, where he's been isolated in his own room for days, if not months on end. He has to, although Al can walk, he can only walk a little bit, so he's constantly having to depend on other people. When he goes somewhere, he depends on a person. When he has to ask to eat or something, he depends on other people. And you can see where this has led to depression. He doesn't move anymore. He used to be a big physical man who was always working. He's one of the men that I respect most in this world for the fact that he just was he's a man of compassion. He's a man of empathy. He's a larger than life husband and father. But ever since that stroke, he's lost his autonomy. He's lost his independence because he's lost his physical health. So I see it as a moral obligation to maximize every second I have on this earth and to help and serve as many people as I can. The reason I'm on this mission, this 10-year mission, to serve 1 million businessmen like you. That's my mission. I'm a world builder, so I want to share and I want to teach the only thing that I do. And I do it better than anybody else on this planet, world building. I'm not teaching manifestation. I'm not teaching anything that I'm not doing in my life or haven't done in my life for years at a successful rate. I'm a world building extremist. I believe in personal sovereignty, independence, freedom, autonomy, and that's what I want to share with men like you. That's why I get up at 6 o'clock and shoot these videos. I don't care if you buy the book, or I don't care if you subscribe to my newsletter or you join my mastermind. If you do, that's great. You can buy other guys' books and other guys' newsletters. It's not going to change my life at all. But my tour of duty and my moral obligation to my creator is to maximize this gift. 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. And this is really the reason that I've always had a personal code of conduct. A personal code of conduct. I've had it with my sports teams, I've had it with my businesses, and I've had it personally. And my personal code of conduct has never really ever changed. No whining, no complaining, and no excuses. And I got that code of conduct from the great Brian Burke, who at the time was the president of the U.S. Olympic hockey team at the Vancouver Olympics. And that was the mission, or that was the rule, or that was the standard that he had set for that hockey team in Vancouver. No whining, no complaining, and no excuses. And Berkey said, whining leads to complaining, complaining leads to excuses, and excuses lead to losing. Good enough for me. And that's my personal code of conduct. 4 trillion to 1. No whining, no complaining, no excuses. Whining leads to complaining. Complaining leads to excuses, and excuses lead to losing. Do you really want to end up in your 70s or 80s and 90s, and looking back with regret at the things you didn't do? We're never going to regret the things that we did. We're never going to regret our frustrations and our disappointments and our losses. Those aren't going to be the things that haunt us. The things that are going to haunt us when we're 70, 80, and 90, and we can see the end of our life, the things that are going to haunt us are the things that we didn't do. The swings that we didn't take, when we played not to win, when we played not to lose instead of playing offense, when we got up and we played defense instead of playing offense. That's what you're going to regret in your life. You're going to regret the time you spent buried in your cell phone and technology. You're going to regret the morning walks that you skipped. You're going to regret the date nights that you didn't have with your queen. You're going to regret not dating your secret weapon wife. And you're going to regret the time that you didn't spend with your children. Where you were mentally present all the time. And you're going to regret anything and everything that has to do with your physical and mental health. If you didn't read, if you didn't write the right foods, if you didn't drink the water, these are the things that we're going to look back and we're going to regret. When you didn't swing for the fences, to me, that's the only thing that we're going to regret. So when you think about it, you don't want to get to near the end of your life and look back and say, man, why didn't I start that business? Man, why didn't I test that marketing? Why didn't I take action on that? Why didn't I date my wife? Why didn't I lose the weight? And you know the only thing that stops human beings? You know the only thing that stops you from executing? It's one word: fear. But what is the fear of? Let me tell it to you straight. No expert or no pretend consultant is ever going to tell you this, but the only thing that stops you from taking action, the only thing that stops you on your tour of duty and fulfilling your moral obligation, the only thing that stops you from executing on your dreams is you're worried about what other people think. You're worried about what other people think. Stop giving a shit about what other people think. You know what? If they're not going to, is it going to matter? Is this going to matter in a year? Is their opinion going to matter in 10 years? Is their opinion going to matter in 30 years? If it's not, dismiss it. Dismiss it. You have one life to live. 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. Quit trying to impress people that you don't respect and you don't even care for or you don't even like. That's the society we live in. We have these people, we have people all around us working all the time, buried in technology, in debt and financial debt up to their necks, to buy things to impress people that they don't even like, to impress their neighbors and their so-called friends and their co-workers, and burying themselves in financial ruin to buy things, cars and homes and vacations, things that they don't even want, to impress people they don't even like. Live your life authentically. Run your business authentically and run your own race. I tell my athletes and I tell my 10-year-old daughter all the time, run your own race. Put the blinders on and run your own race. You're not me and I'm not you. You're no better than me and I'm no better than you. I've been blessed with this magnificent gift of life, 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. So my responsibility to myself, to my family, to my creator is to run my own race, to run my own race. And the greatest insult is for me to ever sit around and whine and complain and make excuses about a lack of opportunity. Are you kidding? This is 2023. This is the land of independence. There has never, ever, ever been a greater time in history to be alive than right now, 2023. Now, you're not going to hear that from the toxic media. You're not going to hear that from fake book. You're not going to hear that on anti-social media. That's not good what you're going to hear from our vomit politicians. But I'm telling you right now, the fact of the matter is, in this year, in this brand new year, you are awash. I am awash in opportunity, abundance, and wealth. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, rivers of money that you as an entrepreneur can choose to step into. No matter what business you're in, there's trillions and trillions of dollars flowing through our countries, flowing through our economies, flowing through the global economy, that all you have to do is get in the rivers of it, get in the way. Unlimited wealth, abundance, and opportunity. Do you know you and your teenagers or your college kids or your spouse, you can instantly start a business. In a handful of days, you can put up a sales page, you can start a YouTube channel, you can market all over the world, you can target market, you can do whatever you want. You couldn't do that 25 years ago. You couldn't start a business in under 7 days. You couldn't have a side hustle that generated you another $50,000 a year. We didn't have any of those opportunities. Unlimited wealth, unlimited abundance, and unlimited opportunity. As I say, it is fucking shameful to not do well in this country. It is shameful. I tell my kid that every day. I write about that in my newsletters. I wrote about that in my book. It is shameful not to do well in this country. Canada and the United States, are you kidding me? There's no shame in being down. Like my father says, there's no shame in being down, Michael. He says, but there's great shame in staying down. Unlimited wealth, unlimited opportunity, unlimited abundance all around us. And I'm so bullish on 2023. I'm so bullish because we make our own economy. We make our own marriage. We make our own relationship with our children. We make our own physical health. We make our own mental health. You choose your world. You're a free man. You choose your autonomy. You choose your personal sovereignty. All you have to do is have the mental balls to claim it. 4 trillion to 1. That's the gift that we've been given. 4 trillion to 1. And 99% of men just piss that gift away. They just piss it away. They moan and they complain and, oh my God, I hurt my knee in high school and I used to play football and my boss doesn't like me and the economy's tough and, oh my God, the end of the earth is happening and the guy in the White House is anti-business and on and on and on. Burying yourself in bullshit. Burying yourself in bullshit instead of running your own race and focusing on what you can control. We have a saying in our home, control the controllables. My daughter will be sitting at the dinner table and she'll start to talk about something that happened at school. That's kids, right? It could be bullying, it could be something mean, it could be something good. And I'll always say to her, do you have control over that? Do you have control over that? And if she does have control over that, I always say, what do you intend to do about it? What do you intend to do about it? If the answer is, I don't have control over that, Daddy, I don't have control over other people, then we move forward. We move away from that. We control the controllables. Absolutely, absolutely critical. So, 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. You have a tour of duty. You have a moral obligation to become the best husband, the best father, the best businessman. Good morning. The best community service person in the world, a moral obligation. And we have zero excuses. Cut out the whining, cut out the complaining, cut out the toxic people in your world, cut out anything that doesn't serve you anymore. This is about happiness. I said to the guys last night on my mastermind, I said to the guys, I was doing the press conference last night. Good morning. For my newsletter guys. And I said, you know, there's a great quote in there from the founder of PayPal. And he said, Jason said, happiness isn't something you find. Happiness isn't something you find. Happiness is something you discover after you cut out all of the stuff in your life that makes you unhappy. I'm going to say that again. Happiness isn't something you find. Happiness is something you create and discover when you cut out, curate, and swift sword out of all the stuff, the people, the substances, the things that make us unhappy. Get curating, get cutting the rope, get rid of things and people that no longer serve you. Everything from toxic people, toxic employees, alcohol, bad foods that make you older, negative inputs like anti-social media, iPhone, addiction, on, and start putting in the good stuff. The walking, the books, the water, dating your wife, the good inputs, fresh air, sunshine, meditation, you name it. Happiness isn't something we discover. Happiness is something we're left with after we get rid of all the things in our world that make us unhappy. You have a tour of duty. You have a moral obligation to become the best version of you. Run your own race and every day count your blessings. Understand that this is the greatest time in history to ever, ever, ever be alive. My mom and dad are in their 90th year, living independently in the house that I was raised in on 30 acres of beautiful land, 15 minutes outside our town. And they're 100% independent to this day. And my dad says, you know, in 90 years, he's seen it all. He's seen it all. And he says, son, he says, there's nothing new under the sun. He says, now it's just everybody has a voice. Every dunce has a voice on social media. Every dunce has a voice on Twitter. Every dunce has a voice. But he said, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's still your 100% responsibility to build the world of your dreams. And you have almost unlimited potential. He reminds me of that all the time. He's like, you know what? You have almost unlimited potential. I'm not talking about dunking a basketball like Michael Jordan, but he says most people use about 7% of their potential. He says you need to use 97%. Get going running your own race. Get going focusing on you. Get rid of the distractions in your life. Get rid of any drama. Get rid of anything that doesn't serve you, whether it's people, foods, substances, alcohol, whatever it is. If it doesn't help you, if it doesn't belong in your new world, your championship world, get rid of it. 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. Remind yourself of that every day when you wake up and you splash water on your face and you say your prayers. It is a friggin' gift to be out here talking to you. This is a blessing beyond belief. I didn't want to get up today. I didn't want to get up at 5 to 6. I was tired. I did the press conference last night and I got up and I said my prayers. I splashed some water on my face and I looked in the mirror and I looked back at the man. I saw the man in the glass, the only person that can make me happy was staring back at me. The only person that can make me wealthy, the only person that can help me progress, the only person on this tour of duty, and the only person who can make me achieve what I want to achieve was that man in the glass. I'm my only competition. Sure, I'm my worst enemy. I have to control my environment. I have to control the controllables. But that man in the glass was staring back at me, and I thought to myself, 4 trillion to 1. What an incredible blessing it is to be able to live in a country, in a community where I could put on my running shoes, I could grab a broken iPhone 7, and I could literally go for a walk and talk to hundreds and hundreds of elite men like you. What an incredible privilege today I have to run my world building mastermind. If you're interested in joining, go to badassworldbuilders.com and apply for membership. The doors are open for the next couple days. What a privilege to work with top 5% businessmen, husbands, fathers, and entrepreneurs. That's what I get to do later this morning. I get to sit by the pool and sharpen the axe, enjoying my coffee with my white recipe cards and read distinctions and ideas and ahas from great books and newsletters. And then I get to sit down and put my fingers on a MacBook Pro and write. I get to write for money. I get to Operation Money Suck later today for an hour. And I get to be out here 15,000 steps with you. What an incredible blessing this life is. The things that it's so easy to take for granted, 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1. I won the lottery with my parents. I won the lottery. I was raised by parents who said, you can do it. I was raised by parents who said you could do it. I was blessed to be born in one of the 2 greatest countries in the world. I was born and blessed with great health. I was born with freedom and opportunity. And it's my moral obligation to maximize all these. It's an insult to not do well. It is an insult for my life not to be an example. It's an insult for me not to be a hero in my own home. When my daughter looks at me and my wife looks at me, it is my responsibility to be a man on a mission. For her to look and say, wow, my dad's getting after it. My dad's on a tour of duty. My dad's on a mission. That's what I need to be doing. I need to be the best version of Michael McLean, running my own race. And like I said to the guys last night, more is caught than taught. When it comes to you being an elite father, an elite husband, an elite coach to your employees, a community leader, that's a great quote. More is caught than taught. Save your words, save your preaching to your teenagers, save your speeches for your adult children. They'll go on what they see. They'll go on what they see. More is caught than taught. I have a lot of world builders now who have been, doing the Jerry Seinfeld X, and all of a sudden, they've got their act together. They're getting in their walk. They're getting in their reading. They're getting in their copywriting, and they're like 31-0, 31-0 in a brand new month. And all of a sudden, they wonder why their sons and daughters are starting to connect with them better. They wonder why their sons and daughters all of a sudden want to come on a walk or go for a drive or join them at a football game. Well, you know why? Because a positive example is the most contagious thing on earth. They're looking to see whether you're serious. Oh, dad's going to quit after 3 days. This is just another phase. But they see 31 red X's up on a calendar. They see dad going 31-0. Your wife sees you going 31-0. And all of a sudden she looks at you differently. She looks at you like when you first started dating. She looks at it and says, I'm married to a fucking lion. I'm not married to a bootlicker anymore. I'm married to a badass. This guy's gonna tear that fucking calendar up. 365-0. I tore that calendar down last year, 366, with videos, accomplished, smashed the goal that I wanted, smashed the video goal, took that calendar off the wall in front of my wife and kid. Fuck, I grew 2 feet, 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Krista looked at me and she's like, that's the man I chose to share my life with. That's the lion. That's the badass. When you cheat on yourself and you don't commit and you break your word with the process and you lie to yourself, you lie to the man in the glass, that's quiet desperation. That's the life of a fucking bootlicker. That's the life of a corporate bootlicker or a personal bootlicker. I don't give a shit how much money you make, still a bootlicker. Or you can choose to be a badass, autonomy, self-reliance, control. And at the end of it, 4 trillion to 1. 4 trillion to 1, I plan on being a badass world builder. 4 trillion to 1, I plan on maximizing this incredible, glorious gift I've been given. If you need help with maximizing and building your world, buy my book, nobullbook.com. It's a real book. It's not a tomato can book or ebook or go fetch PDF. It's a real book for real men who are readers. If you're not a reader, you don't belong here. Go to nobullbook.com and buy a copy of my book. You want to step up to the next level, subscribe to my monthly paper and ink newsletter. Help me kill more trees. I'll send you a 22-page newsletter every month. My world building newsletter, go to badassletter.com. That's badassletter.com. It's $3.23 a day, $97 a month. Don't say you can't afford it. That's BS. A homeless bum on the street can afford $3.23. If you're not subscribing, it's because you're not serious about winning. But don't lie to me or lie to yourself and say it's about the money. It's not about the money. It's $3.23. And if you want to step up to the really big leagues, apply for a seat at one of my masterminds. Start with my World Builders online mastermind. I got 2 seats open. Go to badassworldbuilders.com and apply for your seat. It's like $24 a day. Oh, Michael, it's too expensive. It's $9,997. I'm going to increase that to $25K later this year. I don't know when, but by the end of this year, that mastermind will be 25 grand. You still have a chance to get in for less than $10,000. But think about that. Being around elite men, husbands, fathers, being around other winners, getting one-on-one personal coaching, every 2 weeks, homework, just 10xing and 5xing every area of your life. Is that worth $24 a day? Is that worth $24 a day? Once again, a bum on the street, a panhandling bum on the street can afford that. So maybe you're asking the wrong question. The 99% bootlicker asks this question when it comes to everything. How much does it cost? The badass world builder asks the different question, the right question. How much can this transform my life? How much money will I make from this? How much will this improve my life? That's the difference. The guys that my champions, mastermind, and my world builders and my newsletter guys, you know what they ask? They don't ask how much it costs. They ask, how much would this cost if I wasn't part of it? They ask the right question. They ask the 1% question. How much can I make from this? How much can I maximize this? How much can this transform my life? That's how I thought when I invested 20 grand with Tony Robbins. That's what I asked myself when I invested 30,000 with Bill Glazier's mastermind. I asked myself that question. Man, this is a lot of money, but how much can this transform my world and to change my entire life in the investment in myself? So if you need some help, there's some avenues. Until then, brand new year. If January hasn't been the best, let's go. Brand new month. You got 11 glorious months, 4 trillion to 1. Your gift is still here. You're awake. You got your legs under you. You got some good health. There's nothing that's not within your control. You got 11 glorious months. Start putting those X's up there. Let's see this month go 28-0. That's my goal, God willing. 28-0 in February. Walk, copyright, and read. Road work, Operation Money Suck, sharpen the axe every day, 28-0. My goal now is to go. I'm 32-0. My only goal is to go 33-0. 33-0. That's my goal. Then the next day it'll be 34-0. And I'm going to run my own race. I'm going to run my own race, and I'm going to maximize my tour of duty and my moral obligation. 4 trillion to 1. What an incredible gift. Man, what a time in history to be alive. Abundance, opportunity, and wealth beyond belief. I plan on maximizing it. I hope you do as well. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that'll change your life. Be relentless.